All right, good morning, everyone. Welcome back. Get my eyewear here. All right, let me fix my screen. All right, Chuck, good morning. Sniper, welcome back. How's it going this morning? I break the bank. That's what I'm talking about. Excellent, Chuck. You know what? Let's just go ahead and take a peek at the calendar. I was looking to see what we had this morning. I know we had something, and it is a high impact folder coming at 10 o'clock. And it's a survey of, I guess, some of the largest service companies in the country, talking about, I guess, their outlook on sales this year and how they feel the economy is working. So that survey comes at 10 o'clock. They're expecting a score of 53. Anything better than that is optimistic, and anything less is missing the mark. So we'll at 10 o'clock we'll make sure that we're aware that the news is coming, and if we see anything crazy going on, we'll be careful. But in the meantime, we'll give everyone just another minute or two. All right, Gonzalez. Is that Katie Gonzalez? Welcome. I believe this is your first time here. Thanks for joining. Good to have you. Oh, Sniper already? Okay. All right, Sniper. Well, we'll dust ourselves off, and we'll look for another setup. Yeah, I think I am looking for longs today. Just I don't know. Looks like there's been a good enough retracement. I was doing some measurements this morning, and one of the ones I was looking at looked like it was right at 88%. So this should be a sort of a do or die moment for price action. Either it goes bullish from here, or it does a full 100% retracement, which then takes us to a lower level. So yes, I am long today. I believe I'm just gonna be cautious in doing so, but hopefully I get a setup during the times I'm looking for it, and I'm able to enter a trade today. Oh, it's your 10th time. All right. Okay. Yeah, I usually recognize people when they're the first time in the chat, and so I'm not sure how long you've been part of the room and coming to view us. I just recognize when people speak for the first time. But either way, still good to have you. Glad you're here. All right, Kendrick. Good morning. Yeah, so it looks like we had quite a busy London session, or at least a decent range. It didn't just consolidate for them. Still got a push from, let's say, 2 o'clock ish. Yeah, some of them were probably able to catch this retracement back up and go short and take it down to where it is now. So it's probably 60, 70 points. And then it broke back up only to start receding again. So yeah, it's about 80 points. So it wasn't a huge range, but it wasn't consolidation either. We have a similar situation like we had yesterday, where the highs were still open. So we have London high that's not been traded back to. We also have the Asia high, which has not been traded back to either. And so we have those two that are available. The London low and Asia low both have been traded to, so those are off the board. I've already placed our midnight open as well, our 8:30 open, so we can see how price wants to use those and trade either to or through. All right, Bridget, good morning. Tommy, good morning. Yanus, good morning. Yeah, Tommy, I have that issue too. It's like, for instance, if this was the move and I was looking long, and we go and we measure this out. Yeah, I'm notorious for wanting to take one of the fair value gaps right here for a continuation, as opposed to waiting for it to get down into deep discount, where I have not only a higher probability of winning, but lower risk, because there's nothing below that I would need to protect myself from. So I would easily be able to place a stop loss, as opposed to taking an entry up here where I could place a stop loss, even let's say call it here, which would be a good place. But then there was a gap here that it could trade to, or there was something down here it could trade to. So there's just too many variables where my winning percentage suffered. Um, so yeah, I've been there. Okay, so you have three 50K accounts. Okay, so you want to upgrade to a 150. So from what I understand, you will have to forfeit one of your 50K accounts, because you can only have three at a time. So basically, what you'll be doing is you'll now be trying to replace your 50K accounts with 150 accounts. Is That's my understanding. So I don't think you lose any money. So any money that you've already built into that account, since you got funded on it, you should get paid out on that. And then your 150. So then you'll have a 150 account plus two 50,000 accounts. Oh, Sniper, you're saying you have to blow one of them? Okay. Or maybe they'll make you replace it up front, then make you close it out. Yeah, you should get your money paid out. Yeah, they shouldn't take your money from you that you've already earned and just sitting in your account. Okay, we got the opening bell coming. just a couple seconds. Yeah, move them over to live. From what I understand, I think you have to have a balance of around 20,000 or something to get over to the live accounts. But also that's an invitation thing. So they look at your trading history and all of the metrics, and they invite you to the live portion. Let's go up to the 15. Right, so we are still pushing lower. Sweeping the low from 5 o'clock this morning. All right, keeping in mind that we have high impact news driver coming in 30 minutes. Let me just look and see where price is trying to go. Okay, we're down at 18,100 now. All right, let's do this on the hour. All right, next potential stopping point is at, oh man, it's 60 points down. Although we do have a few, I'm just looking at fair value gaps. We do have a swing low at 18,030. We could also hit half of the wick down around 18,050. Okay, so Monday's London high is also the previous day high. We've already traded below the previous day low. 9.7. Or we'll see how where price wants to go, but I have a level marked up about another 75 points down. Oops, actually closer to 100 points down, actually. All right, as we look at this morning session, just keep in mind, so far today's daily candle has already traded 200 points. So we have a large daily range already. That generally can bring choppy conditions just afterwards. We also have the high impact news driver coming. So during the 10 o'clock hour, let's definitely be careful, avoid any chop, and look and see if price just wants to settle a bit after having such a busy morning. It's a little I guess surprising that the opening range was so large, considering that news is coming in 30 minutes. All right, let me get back in the chat here. One girl trader, good morning. JR, good morning to you as well. Candle is close. 30-minute fair value got done for the day. All right, sniper. Ali, good morning. Welcome to the stream. Welcome to the chat. Mez as well. Welcome back. I believe you were in yesterday. Cool calm. Good morning. Welcome. All right, look like there's been a little pause in the action. Yeah, I'm just going to let price print until the high impact news driver is released, and then we'll go from there and just see where price is and then how it reacts to that news driver. Okay. Back to it. Looks like price is still seeking lower values. So we do on the hourly time frame have bullish fair value gaps below. We have a really thin one here around 18,018. And then we have a much larger one below. In fact, let me make sure these levels are still valid. They're pretty old. Okay, this London low is not. Sorry, I was out late last week on vacation, so anything left over from Monday is still on the charts. New York low is also swept. Yep, the London low is still applicable, and so is that Asian low. 223. Oh, sorry, what is it? Okay, Feb 22. That's what it was. Okay. Here's current view of the hourly. weekly time frame just to see the last 5 or 6 days of trading. All right, we just entered the macro period. So I'm going to drop down to a lower time frame just so we can watch and see if there's anything that occurs during this macro that's important for us. In fact, let me go ahead and mark up barrier here. So I want to see if there's a market structure shift or anything that occurs during this time frame. Also, looking at the higher time frame PD arrays, so the 1 hour fair value gap, see if there's a not only a trade into that area, but a reaction as well. All right, before the news event comes, let's just jump over quickly and let's take a look at our comparison chart so we can just make sure all of our indices are aligned with one another. All right, if we start from the left, this will be the US dollar, which we saw it push down considerably during this hour, just like all the others, but it has rebounded and looks like it may finish the hour bullish, which we would expect it to be opposite of what's going on with the indices here. However, if I look at a longer view here, maybe over yesterday's trading day and the end of last week, we see that we're just basically consolidating with the dollar, whereas the others are reaching for areas and pools of liquidity, and the dollar is just kind of trading within the zone that it's already in. Right, this is the hourly, so this is roughly 2 days of trading. I had been looking for the dollar to reject some of the levels where it was at and to seek lower prices. And so far, it seems like it is rejecting because we haven't made higher prices. However, it hasn't pushed lower and sustained those levels. So I'm still looking for the dollar to push lower, and I'm waiting for that confirmation. But we do see that the three indices are all in sync. They all have been selling for the last basically since yesterday, 3 o'clock. There's been small pullback here. Right after the opening of the London session, we had all three indices do a 2 candle pullback here. And in the last 3 hours, they've pretty much been seeking lower prices in sync together. So that's a good sign. Going to jump back over now to Nasdaq and give you my face back. There we go. Hello, Deepak. Good morning. Welcome. Okay, in just another minute, we'll have that news event released. All right, here we are. See what happens. So far during the macro period, price has just moved sideways without any impact. Okay, sweep a short-term high first, it looks like maybe. Okay, the dollar is melting down so far just to start. And what I was looking for looks pretty good actually right now. In fact, let's watch it comparative comparison between the others. See how dollar was before. We were talking about how it was just consolidating side to side, not doing anything, and then immediately at 10 o'clock, it's now out of the screen. A slight rebound from all three indices so far, opening up. Let's get back down to NQ. 18060. All right. Good luck to you. Right. So as I mentioned earlier, that is true. We did take a short-term high first. First movement with the high impact driver being announced. You know what? Let's just see what the actual news. What was the result? Okay, the result was 52.6, which is slightly lower than the forecast. So it's a little bearish. Actual greater is good for forecast, good for currency, sorry. Good for currency, which obviously means the dollar should be driving up, which would then negatively impact the equity market. All right, price is now inside of a bearish fair value gap on the 1 hour time frame. Okay, yep, straight out of the gate, you see that price ran for short-term highs, one here and one right here as well. Now we're sweeping the lows. Down to possibly 18,023. Below that would be the hour fair value gaps we were looking at earlier. Okay, so price looked like it wanted to sweep this high here, which could have shifted market structure for this low time frame, and just shy of it, and then melted down, made a new low. So now we'll shift this over. And if this high becomes traded above, then we'll look for something different. But for now, price remains bearish on the higher time frame up to an hour, as well as this one. Actually, on the 4 hour as well. Everything from the 4 hour down, price remains bearish. And we're starting to see some sort of retracement on the dollar. Okay, we traded into that larger fair value gap now. Let me move up to the 5-minute. Okay, I'm looking to see how price reacts when it gets to around 17,970, 966, somewhere in that area. Yeah, so it's about another 25 points from the low that we just experienced. Which one are you referring to? Uh, one girl trader, which one? Say, do we count a fair value gap if it was traded to? So what I do is if it's traded through and closes on the outside, then it's deleted. If it trades through it and then it retraces all the way back and it's just a wick, I leave it up there, the 1 hour. So that small 1 hour that was here, there was a, trying to think where it came from. Let me get on the 1 hour frame. Okay. Find where that 1 hour one was. Maybe it was here. It was here. Yeah, like for instance, this one that traded through and then it came back and closed above. I would have left this one open. I think this is the one that was open before, and that's why I would have left it open because it didn't close below. But for instance, if the candle body was down here, then I would have closed it out. And so that's how I have the parameter set here. So my indicator just deletes it once it's traded through and closed below. Otherwise, it leaves it open. Yep. Okay. So the big one that it's in now. Okay. I see what you're saying. Oh, I see. You're saying this one was already traded into. So should this one hold or do we do anything with it? Um, yeah, so I still use it as a fair value gap, even though this one was traded to and almost through all the way. Yeah, it's still a viable fair value gap for me until it's traded below and closed below on the hourly time frame. But right now, I want to see where it reacts or how it reacts when it gets to 17,970, 17,965. So in this area, right in here, this sweet spot here, I want to see how it reacts when it gets there. That'll give me a big indication as to what I want to do. We also have this wick here that hasn't been traded into. We know that price likes to trade into 50% of the wick. And so this is not a fair value gap. But right here, 941. So if it passes that 965 level I'm looking at, a 941 would be the next level I'm looking at because of this long wick. And price likes to trade to 50% of it a lot. Oops. Throw my face back up there. Just put a marker there so I can see when it gets there, which looks like that may happen any moment now. Drop down to 5 minutes here. All right, so we've reached that level now. No, let me mark up the wick I was just discussing. All right, if you've been with me for a while, you know the drill. I need 3 cups of coffee every morning, so I'll be right back. I need to go and refill my cup. Right. Let's see where we are in price action. It looks like it might be seeking lower prices. It did not make a reaction to that first level I was looking for. I'll leave it there, but let's see. Okay, in just a couple minutes, we'll be at half past the hour. That's usually when I start looking for setups. Whenever we have high impact news, I'll give price about 30 minutes to settle, and then I'll look to see if it wants to then resume normal price action after a high impact driver like we had at 10 o'clock. It didn't do a lot as far as price action is concerned. It didn't, you know, I mean, price moved, but it didn't. It wasn't what you normally would see on a red folder day, and that partially could be because we still got a pretty strong reaction during the opening bell. Sometimes what you'll get is the opening bell will be lackluster, waiting for that news driver, which will then send price in a certain direction. Also, it could have been that a higher time frame PD array was reached, would also send price reeling once the high impact driver was announced. And yeah, it just wasn't what I expected from a red folder news event. So let's see if maybe price right now is holding it up. Also, let me measure out this fair value gap. We might be at the consequent encroachment level. So half of this area is 949, which is just below where we are. Right, there's a touch to the midpoint of this fair value gap we're in. Yeah, I can get rid of this first level. Okay, this was, I believe this was half of that wick we looked at on the 1 hour. Now press through all of those levels. All right, just out of my curiosity, anyone currently in a short right now? Give me a profit. All right, Molly, good job. Way to go. Short from 18,026. Taking little bits off here and there and letting a 2-minute run on. Okay. 18,026. Okay, so you're at 75 points up now. Hoping for a pullback and get filled back down. Tommy, okay. Yeah, I'm just looking for some sort of indication as to where sell side liquidity lies. All right, so currently all three indices, you know what, let's take a peek at it while I talk about it. So all three indices currently are selling for the hour. Okay, let me try to get the S&P back into the screen. All right, as you can see here, the Dow, for whatever reason, chose this hour to buy up first and has not taken out the low of last hour. Now that could mean that it's weaker, which is why the last hour was much lower than the other two indices. But as of now, all three are selling as well as the dollar, and I really don't like to trade when I see these conditions. So for me, I might still, I'm still looking for setups. Don't get me wrong, I'm still looking for setups, but probably not going to go in with more than one contract until conditions are more aligned, where we have the dollar and the indices moving opposite directions. We do see a retracement of the dollar so far from its hour low, but it came from way up here and it's still heavily bullish, heavily bearish, and I want to see where we land when the next hour opens. You can see the dollar swept this low, it swept this low. Okay, not quite at Thursday from last week, but it's still pretty bearish, and so I'm gonna wait a little bit longer. Hey Ray, good morning. It can, yes, absolutely. In fact, it's likely to. It looks like it's gonna take out the low from the last candle here. It's gonna looks like it's gonna continue. Now I've been looking for where it may land, so I'm verdict still not out on that one yet. All right. So as where it's trading now, we're close to the level of where price started to buy up from last Wednesday. If you remember, middle of last week when price was consolidating for a little bit and then it started really moving. And you got the two bullish days, Thursday and Friday of last week. So it's now retraced back down to that consolidation zone. Um, so this would be interesting to see how price reacts in this area. I guess as far down as maybe 17,900. Or I guess maybe as far down as like 875. Pikachu. I'm not sure if that's a joke or I don't know what you mean. Okay, in just one more minute, we'll be in the 10:50 to 11:10 macro. That'll close out the 10 o'clock hour, and we'll have our final hour of the morning session. Okay, I think we are in the lower quadrant here. Fifty of 50. Yep. So we are in the lower quadrant. Okay, now time for the macro to begin, and we'll see where it sends price. Okay, here on the 1 minute, it's inside of a small bearish fair value gap right here. See if that sends price lower or if it trades through it. Okay, let me get back down to a lower time frame. I think maybe next hour we'll see price look a bit more favorable and more what we expect. And really, I mean, breaking free from the dollar and then moving in opposite direction. So hopefully next hour, that's what we're going to get. Even as we close out this hour, the dollar was retracing, putting in a nice wick for the 1 hour, but it's now pushing lower. So the wick probably won't be as large as originally expected. Dow has finally started pushing lower and created a new low for the hour. Bit of a mixed bag so far during macro. Just trading sideways, every other candle, up, down, up, down. Oh, Shark, welcome. Welcome. Good morning. Mm, okay, so we got a rejection from that fair value gap that was here. I mentioned earlier, we just traded into it once again. However, couldn't close above it. Oh, thank you for that. I appreciate it. Thanks for hitting the like button. And for everyone who's done that so far this morning, I appreciate you. Okay, so we did get a closure above. Nice. So we'll delete this. Frank, through my back testing, so I will likely take maybe one trade per day. Um, but when I go back testing, I look for all the setups as if I had seen them live. And typically there are about two really good setups in a day. Um, Usually one in the morning session, one in the afternoon session. And the time, I guess the time that I'm most likely to take a trade is generally between 10:30 and 11:30 in the morning. Okay, we got an equal high here, but it did not break it. I just have this line here because of this swing high. I want to see if we can get over this candle, this third candle of the swing high. Oh, no problem, Frank. Yeah, Frank. What I'm hoping to do is right now I'm journaling most of my journaling everything in Notion. Um, but what I hope to start doing is to start transferring some of those screenshots that I'm taking from my back testing sessions over into the Discord, so you can see how I review the charts after the day is over. Pretty strong there. Let's see if it continues. Got it. Yeah, that's a great idea, Frank. You just get one, just master one or two things in the beginning. Let that become a winner for you. So at least you have a setup that you can rely on and go to. And then, like you said, start expanding your skill into different setups so you're not relying on just one type of entry model. All right, we have another just under 4 minutes left in this macro. Let's see if we can get some sort of high closed into, not just a wick. We can get a candle body above this level. Move that up. We can get a candle body above that level. We might be in business for a reversal. So far, not a lot happening. Looks like one of those slow three drives patterns where just high, low, high, low, high, low, and then you get a failure, and then you sweep this low, and these lows all together. Let's see if that's what's going to happen. Yeah, we'll see what we get. If we don't get anything, then we'll just wait for another hour or so to see how price reacts then. Okay, so we did not get a closure above. We did get a wick above, but not a closure. Okay, we'll move back up to the 5 minute here. We'll see if price wants to go lower. Looks like price may want to go lower here, and if it sweeps this low, then let's look and see if maybe it does like a settling. So we will sweep the low, and then it just kind of drifts around until the next macro period, right? And then we get something different. I know that was a horrible drawing, but I'm just thinking of sweeping this low and then kind of giving us a slowdown period like we experienced in this area, just more so down here. We do have a February 22nd London low down at 812. So that's another 100 points down, but that is another key level that was never swept during on February 22nd. But prior to getting there, there are a couple more 1 hour fair value gaps that price could find support at. All right. All right, girl trader. Yep, I'll make sure I get that done then. No, I try to only do the A plus trades when I go back and look at the market for the day. What's the plan? Well, right now, price has been aggressively selling off this morning. If you look back through the last couple of hours, especially since the opening bell, I think it dropped about 80 points or so during London, but the opening bell has sent price down another, 150 points or so. So, so right now we're looking at price to see whether it wants to continue lower or whether we're going to see some sort of retracement back up into one of the fair value gaps or one of the bearish PD arrays that's been created. So that's where we are now. We were looking during the last macro period, the 1050 to 1110, looking for some sort of market structure shift or something, and nothing really occurred during that time. So now we're just waiting for price to show us its next move. Okay, we had a failure to take out the swing low. But we did get a new swing high created. So let's see if that is what we were looking for. And if something happens now. And it's possible that it could happen now. And Frank, you'll see once I start posting when I go back and look for setups. But when I create a setup, I then look for when did price trade into what would be the entry. And what I found is that in majority cases, you can find that entry during the macro. And so that's the level of confluence I'm looking for. Not only just an entry, but I'm looking for the macro to create the entry. Um, FX right now we're at the same level that we were at on last Wednesday when price got out of its consolidation and started pushing for that Thursday, Friday bullish run. And so right now I'm looking to see if it's going to reverse and also run bullish again from this same level now that it's traded back to it. So this is why I'm interested in this swing high that's been created. I want to see now if price can push up to it with some level of speed that then creates a bullish fair value gap. And then from there, yeah, we'll just look and see if there's an entry. But we're at a position right now. I'm waiting to see if it delivers something. If it drops below here, we may see another 50 to 60 points down. Right. Okay, let's go to 3 minutes. Let's see if we can get a closure above this level. Here, this will be the breaker. All right, so that's good. We have that. We also have fair value gap in here. Small one. I like the trade out. I don't like the retrace back in before the closure. I want to see the closure outside. Okay, I like that too. Sweet. Okay, this is the manipulation leg here, the orange, which has a consequent encroachment here. The breaker has a consequent encroachment at 935.5, and the fair value gap consequent encroachment at 934.25. All right, there we go. Let's see if we get a closure above. We got 2 minutes remaining. Righty. Queen is here. Morning. Morning. Welcome. Just in time. I think we might have a setup here. Oh, only Mondays and then during London. Okay. Yeah, I think Cammy's also doing a Asia session, he mentioned, I think. But that'd be great. I noticed we do have more people in on the afternoon, so that might have something to do with the fact that he's not there anymore. But the mornings, I don't know. I don't know if Tanya trades and Patrick Weiland is eating up all the traders, but we don't have nearly as many traders in the morning as we have in the afternoon. Lexart, I do not use Bookmap. I thought that was Robin. I was like, she has a new username. Okay. Oh, Vivian, you had it. You had it set up. All right, Robin, I'll remember now. Right. All right. So we did get a tap back in for anyone interested in this setup. I like to take my entries in the macro period. So I'm gonna hold off for another 15, 20 minutes or so. Hopefully it'll come back and trade a little deeper into the breaker and not run away from me. But if it runs away, it's fine. Thank you, Vivian. That's very kind of you. Thank you. Yep. All right. Look like it's coming back to give another retest. Still about 18 minutes early for me. What I'm going to do, I'm going to run, grab another cup of coffee. I'll be back in under 2 minutes, and then let's continue trading. Right, I'm back. Oh, she gives away a lot of, yeah, she does. She's grown like crazy though. She started around the same time I have, and I think she's around 30,000 subscribers. Let's see where we are. You said the 5 minute breaker. Hmm. Yeah, I'm looking at that. Sometimes though, I've been tripped up with the market maker model where they don't go all the way. Sometimes it'll only get to 80, 90% of the full range, and then it can turn around. So I'm not. Yes, I'm still struggling with the market maker models. But yeah, I also, like I said, I reserve my entries until the macro period. So even if it looks like a great entry right now, I'm not going to take it. And that'll allow, if it's going to fail, it'll likely fail now, and so it'll keep me out of that kind of trouble. 826. Okay, you're targeting 826. Okay, as a low. Got it. Patrick, Doggy D. I've never heard of Doggy D. There's a live stream book map here. Gives you more edge in trading. Okay. Well, thanks, Lexart. Yeah, I'll keep that in mind. Right now, I'm trying not to add too many things to the trading plan now. But in the future, that could change. But we'll see. Mm. bearish fair value gap here. Let's see if it trades above that. Still another 7 minutes before the macro. Hey, TJ. Oh, you're done with duty. Okay, so they dismissed you, it seems. Doggy D, inverted fair value gaps. Okay. All right, there it goes. Oops. Hmm. People below. There we go. It looked like we had an hourly bearish fair value gap here, and it's not there until it's confirmed, which will be another 15 minutes. Okay, that's good, man. Glad it worked out for you that he didn't show up, so you were able to get out of that pretty quickly. Exactly. Yeah, they threaten you with jail or whatever penalty they think they can impose on you for not showing up. But at the end of the day, they just want you to be a good citizen. So they just do that to hope they get enough people. Right. Dorcas, good morning. Oh, well, well, Vivian, you still could have pulled 20 to 30 points out of this. So that's enough to be satisfied. No, you're not late. Okay. Well, afternoon. Good afternoon. Uh, Sort of. So our session finishes in about 10 minutes. But Dorcas, we do come back in the for the afternoon session, so we'll break for 1 hour and then we'll come back. So you're not technically late. You'll This session will end and then you'll just have to join the next one. FX, there's no entry at this moment. Price, I mean, we're looking for an entry, but right now we're just not there. All right, so we're in the macro period now. Let's drop down to the 1 minute. Right, we was hoping that price had created a floor, and when it moved up here, the retracement back down was going to settle in a place instead of trading all the way down. It went a little further than we thought, or it went a little further than I thought, but it was too early as well. I'm waiting for a price to trade in that area here in the macro, but since it's already done it and traded through the lower edge, that invalidated what I was looking for before. So now I need to look for a new setup. Um, yeah, I'm not sure how long you've been trading, but this is it's definitely a waiting game. It's a game of who can be patient and not blow their account before the good setup happens. So we have equal lows here, which may be a magnet for price. And we have this one. So we're in between this zone here. Now let's see where we're going. Yep. Queen, that's quite possible. Definitely quite possible. $8.79. Oh, that's so Frank, I changed my parameters. So on this fair value gap, um, I'm sorry. Yeah, the fair value gap indicator that I'm using. So I used to not have this one toggled, which is basically I'm telling it only give me the 1 hour fair value gap. So as I switch through time, through the time charts, what's happening is it's taking the 1 hour fair value gap and it's putting it on every time frame, no matter where I switch to. Before I used to have this first one checked, which says only give me the fair value gap for the time that I'm looking at. So if I switch to the 5 minute, it'll only show the 5 minute fair value gap. If I switch to the hour, only the hour would show up. So that's the difference. Is that I said, you know what, I want the 1 hour to kind of drive what I'm looking at and what I'm looking for. And so no matter where I switch, only give me the hour. That's why it looks different, Frank. Also, you'll see there's this little uh, nameplate here, indicator H1 FVG. So I'll let you know it's on the 1 hour. All right, Sniper. Catch you tomorrow. But yeah, it was definitely looking bearish. I thought we were starting to potentially look bullish, but so far price is not indicating that. I haven't really looked at the comparison chart, so let's do that before we head off to lunch. Get rid of my face. There we go. All right, so far this hour, well, it's almost over in another couple minutes. We can see the dollar's been buying pretty much the entire time after the big trade down from the red folder news that we had this morning. Now we have the other indices continuing to push lower, pretty much pushing themselves out of the screen. Right, so we do have confluence of the others. This is what I was looking for last hour, is I wanted to see the dollar trade opposite of the indices. Indices, for the most part, at least on Nasdaq, you can see how small the range is this hour. It's quite small, and that's why we sort of been in this waiting pattern, because it started to look bullish, and we were looking to see if we would get a setup. Whereas S&P and the Dow pushed well below their lows from last hour and kept going. So they were looking extremely bearish. For me, I think it's going to be, I never trade during lunch just because that's the break that I take. And so it'd be good for me to come back after lunch and check and see where price is at that time. But as of right now, S&P and Dow are heavily bearish, and we have an NQ, which is consolidating essentially. We had a sweep of a low by just a couple ticks. These couple candles here swept this 1050 low by just a couple ticks there. And that's pretty much all the action we got during this past hour. And see, we got price now starting to push up higher. Just 30 seconds before 12 o'clock. Yep. So, yeah, I want to thank everyone for joining this morning. Welcome all the new people. I'm glad you were able to join the session this morning. On the way out, make sure you hit the like button. Also, if you're new and you want to get the invitations for future live streams, make sure you subscribe and hit the notification button. We always take an hour break and we come back at 1300. So I will see all of you in 1 hour. Cheers, everyone. Take care.